use these. And here's more. I mean, I just have lots of ideas. I tried to make it where you could just keep going, and I don't want to overwhelm you right now with what the ideas are, because I feel like you can read it yourself, and specify it to your grade level. But this one, again, is just anything where they're not verbally speaking and not doing videos. But the thing that's really neat is that what happens later that I found is the kids can take these pictures that they've made and that they've labeled and then insert it in a Show Me, or insert it in an iMovie, or insert it in something else, and then speak over it and explain all the words. So I mean, the kids started integrating the apps in different ways. Again, no more than 4 or 5 apps, just letting them kind of run with it. So you don't have to have like 30 apps doing all kinds of things. And again, this was with 5 iPads, so they were most of the time in groups, like they were in groups of like 5 or 6. And we talked again about it's the whole idea of grouping and whose role is what, and making sure everybody gets to use the iPad and everybody's typing. And so it was just a constant all year long. Like, we are going to be really proficient with these 4 or 5 apps. Here's another how to use Sketch. Here's what all the things are. And then really, if you Google caption apps, there's a ton of things that add those little boxes on them, which is what they are. Is there any questions? I'm going.
We're in awe.
I was really nervous. That's okay. All right, Haiku Deck. Haiku Deck is so that the kids can make presentations kind of similar to PowerPoint, except it has this really, really neat, like, I'm obsessed with the visual aspect of the app. All of these, like the text and everything, they have different themes that they can choose to use. And my favorite thing about it is that it has a huge bank of images. All of these images that you'll see in here are from the app itself. So they're not just searching randomly on Google, they're from the app itself. The one I was at in Scott County, they said that one of their kids was able to find some picture that would probably not have been appropriate, but my kids did not find any all year long. So, I mean, but I'm also very much in their business when they are on these. So maybe that's why, but I don't know. So anyway, this is one for science where they were creating different examples of things in the hydrosphere. And again, all of the pictures are from the app. They're just really great pictures. And so the kids are able to make like really high-level looking presentations. And then this one, I made them get up in front of the class and explain what it was that they had done. And so you're getting both in there. But it's allowing them to make a visual presentation without the speaking part of it. Here's another one where we had read all week, and then they had to summarize what they had learned in reading. And so civil rights movement, you know, here's what they were doing. These, again, if it was younger kids, I would preview kind of what it is you want them to find and give them the specific search terms. And again, type it up and make sure that that's what they're putting in, because then they'll hopefully find the pictures you want them to find. But they can click the button to add them. Like, it's super simple. Like, it's very user-friendly. And so they're able to make these really, really neat things with very little effort. Here was another one where they're looking for examples of quadrilaterals and finding just different examples in the images that the website had of quadrilaterals. So there's just lots of different ideas for that. There's a couple more examples that I found online. There was one where they did poems. You could do like an acrostic poem, and each slide is another sentence or another part of the poem. You could do that as like a get to know you. I have a lot of stuff on here where like the teacher could do it at the beginning of the year, like at open house, you could have it up. But they can give facts, they can create it to summarize a story with the different parts, and just putting the different parts of the story together. There's just lots of different things you can do. Anything where they are typing or putting the information in there without having to verbally record anything on the app. Here is a how to use Haiku Deck. And again, things that are similar to this would be like Keynote, which is Apple's version of PowerPoint, and Prezi, which is also kind of makes similar kind of things. I'm not as familiar with those because I just kind of got my head around which ones I was going to use, and then I just ran with it. So, but these ideas, I think you could use with, a lot of different apps. It's just kind of getting the ideas for how to integrate technology as opposed to these 5 specific apps or the end-all be-all. Like, I'm hoping that I would get your you know, your mind wrapped around different things you can do with technology that's linked to your standards already. iMovie is probably, to be honest with you, my biggest example of how we are the only thing in the way of students using technology, because I was scared of it. iMovie is just, it's a lot for me. When I look at it, it's just a lot. Some of you are probably really, really good at it. I'm not that person, but my 4th graders were, and so, embarrassing, but that's okay. And so they would make pretty much anything. They were the ones that kept art. Like, I had one girl that had used it a lot at home, and she was the one that kept coming to me and saying, you know, we're making this show me, but I really want to show my face. Like, I really want to explain, and I want to make a chart, and I want to explain that chart. And I was like, well, how do you use iMovie? I don't know how to use iMovie, you know? And she was like, I'll show you, it'll be fine. And so she ended up teaching, like, everybody, and they ended up making them for all kinds of things. And again, they would be the one, this girl was the one that was like, I can't draw or explain what I'm doing when I use the box method with multiplication, but if you let me take a video of my hands, I will explain it while I'm doing it. And so that's what she did. Like, somebody took a video over her doing it, and she explained it out loud. We also did, what is the funniest one that explains how they, okay, this, and again, any of these, there are student faces. So I had to get written permission for all of these kids to be on here. So iMovie is probably the other reason that I was the most nervous about it, is because I was like, I don't have permission for all of you to have your faces on here, and I need to know that, you know, there's all this stuff. And now there's the new rules about something with their face. If you have something with their face, like, I have to save all of this for like a really, really long time. So keep that in mind with their work and their faces. But here's one that they made for the snow day packet. I did not end up posting it online, because these 3 girls in particular are so sarcastic that I just didn't feel like it would be how I want to explain snow day packets, but you guys will think it's so.
Hello, this is Sophie, Lisabel, and Gracie, and we will be talking about the snow day packet. This is the snow day packet. This is our snow day worksheet. What's my line again? A line? This is wrong. I finished my reading. You got a big X. There will be no questions unanswered. Right here. Where is my reading response? Right here. You understand?
And they start getting really.
This is my snow day map.
Alright, but that's just an example. I don't have a ton of these that I can give as an example, because again, they're all student faces and I didn't get permission for all of them. But this was just kind of like the thing that put it all together. And so then I had some where they would use their pictures that they had made from other things and integrated them into the video, or use like pictures that they made with Sketch and things like that, and just put them in there.
Did they edit that themselves?
Yeah. That's what I mean. I don't know how to do that. But they did it. I mean, they started adding, like, this is one where they're explaining the engineering design process, and that one was about Black History Month and all. And they had, this one, the rubric was they had to include a certain number of quotes from stuff that we had read, and then they had to tell, like, who they thought was most important and why, and stuff like that. So it had different, just things in there. But yeah, they edited them all themselves, because I still do not really know how to design them very well. I had only done the book trailers, because they are so, like, you just plug in the stuff where it goes. Have you guys done the book trailers on iMovie? No? Oh, there's also a book trailer thing on iMovie, I didn't know that, where, if you can have a book trailer or you can have a project. That was a project. A book trailer, it's like it has these 10 different themes, and you pick the theme, so you could say, well, it's not a book trailer, it's a trailer, but we did book trailers with it. But you pick your theme, so say you want, like, indie or something, and it has, like, an indie sounding song, but what it does is it has the different, like, this one you're going to want a screenshot of a picture, this one you're going to want an action shot, this one you're going to want this, and it tells you how long they're all going to be, and then they type in the, like, the words that are going to pop up. It's just very, like,
So it's more of
they
a
plug it
template?
in. Yes. Like, they plug it in. And that's what I had always used, and that's what I was comfortable with. And I was too overwhelmed with the idea of creating a whole project and editing it all together. And so that's what they did. I'm sorry, I should have. But anyway, so there's more ideas for how to use iMovie. And there's a couple of tutorials for how to do it. You guys have questions? That's my 5 apps. Like, that's what I did, and I just did it all year, and I just stuck with them all year. It's not like those were the only ones I was using, but those were the ones that I felt it was easiest to use across the content areas. And my kids, again, just got really good at it by the end of the year. My goal this year is to do as much of this stuff as I can on my Chromebook, because it is my goal in life to be a Google educator. And so I now am wanting to do like the Chromebook stuff and see if I can integrate some of these things into the Chromebooks. And so if you guys do that, or if you have any ideas, like please email me. If you add something to this, like if you start using one and you come up with a great idea, please let me know, because I am not one of those people that like doesn't want to change. You know what I mean? So give me more ideas.
Wait, what kinds of things have you started to do on your Chromebook? Anything like with your kids?
Well, for right now, I've been doing the show me and I guess not the verbal ones, I guess more the haiku deck. We've been doing pictures and putting them in their, the Google Slides. And so that's kind of all I've done so far with it. Other things that we've done with the Chromebooks, I had the kids, we checked out the lab the other day, and I had one document that, well, first it was a nightmare getting everybody logged in to Drive, and then getting them all in my Google Classroom was like, whatever. But we're finally getting there. I've got like 5 that are now turning in their homework on Google Classroom, so that's exciting. But anyway, once they got logged in, I can share a document with all of them, and I did the thing the other day where we were trying to get details. We were reading 4th grade Rats for like, the very beginning of school, and we were trying to get details about how Joey and Suds had changed throughout the book. And so they were in groups of like 3 or 4, and they each had a Chromebook. Each group had a Chromebook. And as they found details and page numbers, they would type them in on this table that we were all working on and share, like, here's, at this point, Joey is still trying to act like a 3rd grade angel, and at this point, Suds is you know what I mean? Like, they were typing in as we went, and you could see it up on the board where each group kept adding more page numbers and more details. So that was one way that I've used the Chromebook so far this year. I hope it was helpful.
Really organized, so it's easy to go on.
Yes, I'm Cameron and I have OCD. Like,
What about time, like for kids that take a lot longer than other kids? Like for some kids this will happen really fast, but like grasping all of this stuff, but for others it takes a lot longer. So making the different things,
Yeah, I started the year with more group work than I did individual. And so there was like putting them in groups where like one of them was going to be stronger, and I really had to talk with that group of kids. I called them like my technology leadership group or whatever. And they really got into the idea of I'm going to help these people. And so they would teach, and I'm going to show them how to do this, and I'm going to show them how to do that. And by the end, it got better, but I was very intentional about the ones that I picked for that. Not the ones that were going to just steal the show. But as the year went on, then I was able to do a little more like, you take the iPad and go do that by yourself. And they were more, proficient at it. Any questions?
You did a good job.
Thank you.
Do you want to put your website on the board, because it's kind of hard to see?